Good morning, classmates, judges, and Mr. Reddington. I am Matt Thompson, and my partner James and I are speaking on the affirmative side to change the status quo regarding transportation infrastructure in the United States. I would like to start off with a quote from Dwight D. Eisenhower, our 34th president. Our unity as a nation is sustained through the easy transportation of people and goods. Can we honestly say that our transportation is easy now? I'll touch on that a little bit later. Our resolution concerning this topic is resolved that the United States federal government should substantially increase its transportation infrastructure investment in the United States. James will speak more about our plan later. To make sure everyone is on the same page, I would like to define some terms for you. An investment, defined by dictionary.com, is the investing of money or capital in order to gain profitable returns, as interest, income, or appreciation in value. The history of transportation infrastructure has gone all the way back to 1806, where Congress allotted funds to make the National Road, which stretched from Maryland to Illinois. This was the first federally funded road. By 1869, enormous investment allowed the railroad to stretch from coast to coast. With that investment, we were able to do great things, just like what will happen today. From 1900 to 1950, local, state, and federal dollars went to building millions of miles of roads. Then, in 1956, President Eisenhower once again signed the Federal Aid Highway Act, which led to the construction of over 40,000 miles of highway. Recently there have been some disasters with our crumbling infrastructure, which leads to James and I's cause for discussion. This brings me to my first point. Many roads in the United States today are extremely unsafe. As stated by Sweaty Kashil from VehicleFashion.com, more than 70,000 bridges in the U.S. are defective, a recent study reveals. The study that was conducted by the Transportation for America means to say that an engineer has detected a structural deficiency in these bridges, but the repair work is yet to be carried out. She also goes on to say that every second, 71 drivers cross defective bridges in Chicago alone, and that the number of defective bridges in Chicago comes to a shocking 400 bridges. Now, how can this possibly be? We know that these bridges are unsafe, but we do nothing about it. We are keeping these people's lives at risk when they drive over these bridges every single day. Are we waiting for another bridge to collapse with innocent lives of Americans tumbling down with the bridge? Our next argument is that we will make this investment over a long period of time. We realize that nothing can be done immediately, but something needs to be done pretty darn soon, or else our infrastructure will come crashing down on top of us, or in a bridge's case, below of us. The practical way to do this is to not make a massive overhaul in fixing bridges and roads, but to prepare and rebuild new ones for the future. Lastly, transportation infrastructure is a huge part of the United States as we know it. Investing in it will allow us to modernize old bridges with new equipment, pave roads more easily and quickly. Not only does investing help the infrastructure, but it will also help with job growth. According to Jorge Martinez, president of the Chicago Federation of Labor and recent member of the Chicago Infrastructure Trust Board, he said that for every $1.25 billion that is invested in transportation, at least 35,000 jobs will be created. Once you think of this big picture, say that $40 billion is invested. That'll create 1,120,000 jobs. And that's only $40 billion being invested. With these types of numbers, our job crisis will start to rise. To conclude, the investment in transportation infrastructure needs to be made. The investment needs to be made to prevent any further disasters from happening, to rebuild and build smarter, and to modernize to create jobs. Our country's infrastructure is crumbling, and we need to do something about it, or we will suffer. Thinking back to my earlier quote from Dwight D. Eisenhower, our unity as a nation is sustained by free communication of thought and by easy transportation of people and goods. Our transportation is no longer easy. It is taking the turn for the worst, and our plan will save it. Invest in our future and better our today. Thank you. Please vote affirmative.